Good morning. My name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting a company update from Labrador Gold, which trades on the Toronto Venture Stock Exchange under the symbol LAB. Joining me today is Lab's President and CEO, Roger Moss. Roger, how are you doing today?
Very well, thanks, Megan. Good to be back.
So, Roger, for those who are new to the Labrador Gold story, could you give us an overview of the company and your Kingsway and Hopedale projects in Eastern Canada?
Yeah, absolutely. If we, this is just our corporate disclaimer. So obviously, as your listeners will know, we do make forward-looking statements, so they should be aware of that. And Kingsway is a project that we've worked on now for 3 years or more, and it's located on the island of Newfoundland. And we got started here back in 2020 when Newfound Gold made their incredible discovery at Keats, shown here, 92 grams a ton over 19 meters, and that sparked a whole staking rush really in Newfoundland. And we were fortunate enough to get involved early on, and we acquired the licenses that became the Kingsway project probably 2 months after the news release that announced the Keats discovery. So we were pretty quick to get involved there, and we, as I said, we've been working there since that early days of 2020. One of the things here, our project, as you can see, is outlined in blue. We are partially surrounded by Newfound Gold, but one of the most important things to think about in terms of this diagram is this dashed black line running through the middle here called the Appleton Fault Zone, because most of the significant gold that has been found both on Newfound Gold's Queensway project and our Kingsway project has been pretty closely associated with this Appleton Fault Zone. So it's a significant structure that seems to be controlling gold mineralization in this area. And we're very fortunate in that our Kingsway project covers about 12-kilometer strike length of that structure. So that's Kingsway. We do have another project called Hopedale, which we haven't talked about a lot. We have been working up there. This is up in Labrador. It's close to the Atlantic Ocean. It's just southwest of a community called Hopedale. And the interesting thing about our Hopedale project is that it covers a large part of the Florence Lake Greenstone Belt. And we know that greenstone belts all over the world are prolific hosts of gold mineralization. And we have been exploring up at Hopedale for several years, and we have outlined some significant gold mineralization up there as well. And more recently, we've been starting to investigate the nickel and copper potential of the belt, and we hope to have some results from our work last year in that regard coming out soon. So stay tuned for that. So going back to Kingsway, Kingsway is our flagship project. It's the one where we spend most of our time, and we have done as I mentioned, over the last 3 years. And during that 3 years, we have basically generated from scratch a number of targets, and we've drilled these targets. And so far, we've discovered 7 gold occurrences, and we'll go into some of those just shortly. But you can see here the main ones that we have drilled significant gold on. Starting down at the southern border, down here with Newfound Gold, Golden Glove, coming up to Big Vein, Pristine, and Dropkick. You can see that all 4 of those are located along this Appleton Fault Zone, which is shown here in the red dashed lines. And you can see also that Newfound Gold's gold occurrences, and there are probably more than this right now, are also associated with that, as is one of the occurrences that Exploits Discovery has in between the two properties. So very prolific prolific gold mineralization along this Appleton Fault Zone. This is a lot of information, and I think your listeners can look at it at their leisure. But I think what's highlighted here is the number of discoveries that we've made over the past 3 years. Most recently, it's the HM Occurrence, which we'll talk about in a little bit more. And again, this is a testament to that the prospective nature of the ground around the Appleton Fault Zone. And obviously our team of geologists out in Newfoundland have obviously done a very good job of making these discoveries. And so as I mentioned, seven discoveries here, and it seems to be sort of one every few months that we're getting in this on the Kingsway project. So earlier this year, we talked about focusing on Kingsway South, and this is what we see in this in this slide here. And it's an area between Big Vein and Golden Glove, and we hadn't really done much work down in that area, and mostly because there's not a lot of outcrop, and it's mostly covered with glacial till. And but even the till is not that good for geochemical exploration, so it's a difficult area to work. But we did do quite a bit of geophysics down there, and we following up on some of the geophysical anomalies, we ended up by coming across this knobby occurrence, and we had some good grades there from grab sampling of this quartz vein. And this is what we had, up to 47 grams a ton of gold in grab sample from there, which was very encouraging and allowed us to then start drilling that occurrence. And the new occurrence that we're talking about is just further north of that. And again, it's part of this Kingsway South area that we've been targeting in the latter part of 2023.
And last week, the company provided an update from your ongoing 100,000 meter drill program at Kingsway, where the company announced a new gold occurrence located 570 meters southwest of the Big Vein target. Can you quickly introduce us to the HM Occurrence and results from this area?
Yeah. So if we look at the overall map of the southern license that we have at Kingsway, this is a bit of a messy slide, but the key things to note here is this area between Big Vein and Golden Glove that we called Kingsway South. And you can see here I've put on the knobby occurrence here and the HM occurrence over here. So knobby we found a little bit of gold, like 8.78 grams a ton over a meter. And that was earlier towards the end of last year. And then the very last hole that we drilled before shutting down for the Christmas break was the first hole into the HM. And this is something that was very, very interesting in that it had significant gold mineralization over almost the entire length of the hole. So the hole, if I remember correctly, was about 75 meters long, and we had about 0.8 grams a ton over 60 meters of that length of downhole length. And within that there was some higher grade mineralization. So a very exciting hole to have. We had both the higher grade mineralization in the quartz vein, and then we also had lower grade around it. And you can see here it's located between Big Vein and Knobby, almost halfway between Big Vein and Knobby. So again, it's situated along this Appleton Fault Zone, and it just shows again the prospectivity of this area, that you can keep coming up with new finds of significant gold mineralization.
What sticks out to me in the release is not only the immediate intersection of mineralization in the first hole, but also the length of mineralization where you reported continuous anomalous gold. Could you comment on this, as it's not something we've typically seen in drilling new occurrences at Kingsway?
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, it's it was nice to see, and you can see some pictures here. The one on the top has got some of the visible gold around it here, and down here where you see the pink flagging tape. Those would be areas of that contain visible gold in the quartz veins. But and that's something that we often see in the core from Kingsway, from the different deposits, or the different occurrences, big vein, dropkick, pristine, gold concentrated in these quartz veins, often very high grades, in the quartz veins with lots of visible gold. But this is one that, as I mentioned, we've seen almost 0.9 grams a ton over 55 meters of core. So in addition to having that high grade core gold in the quartz vein, we're seeing lower grade mineralization extending out into the wall rock, and it's not as common in the rest of the drilling that we've done to see that those kinds of grades, or that extensive low grade mineralization around the mineralized quartz vein. So yeah, it's very encouraging to see that. And like I mentioned, it was the last hole that we drilled before the Christmas break. So we haven't had a chance to do much else since then.
So I know it's early days, Roger, but can you discuss the strategy at this target, as this hole must be considered highly successful, being the only drill hole at this target?
Yeah, well, I mean, we certainly don't want to leave it at that. And as I said, we haven't had a chance to go back there yet, but we do have some holes planned to follow up this intersection. And I understand that the drill will be at back here early next week, and so we will be starting to test this occurrence in more detail, and stepping out to the northeast towards Big Vein, and down to the southwest towards Nobby. So we'll see how the mineralization changes, or hopefully increases as we step out from this one hole that we've drilled there so far.
And to finish things off, is there anything else you'd like to leave with our listeners today?
I think that's pretty much it. We have had a lot of success at Kingsway, and it's always exciting to find more, and I think that there is more to be found here, especially since we've had such a long history. Well, short in terms of 3 years, but in those 3 years, there's been a history of finding these occurrences on a fairly regular basis all the way along that Appleton Fault Zone. So I think we're in the right place, and I think there's a lot more to be found here.
Well, once again, we want to thank you for your time today, Roger, and we look forward to having you back on soon for another Labrador Gold update.
Thanks very much, Megan. Be happy to be back.